Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
Welcome to our movie review of Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. Of course, the fourth installment in the new timeline for Planet of the Apes, which started back with Andy Serkis as Caesar, and now, of course, this is the new trilogy. We all watched it together.
R.I.P.
We all watched it together in person, actually. Something we haven't been able to do in quite a while since Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's a fun experience.
A year. Yep. About a year.
About a year. Yeah. But yeah. What are your thoughts?
I liked the movie. Josh, thoughts?
I thought the movie was okay. Alex, thoughts?
I thought it didn't live up to like the hype of War or Dawn, but I would put it above Rise. Blake, thoughts?
I concur. Josh, thoughts?
I give it a... We're not there yet. But yeah, slightly above. Alex?
Apes together strong. Blake, thoughts?
I second.
We knew they were going to put that in the movie a lot. It was in there. A good chunk
Yeah, they
of
did.
times.
Yeah, they did.
Good times.
The start was even a little heavy. You know, we start seeing Caesar's burial,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I guess
Got
not burial,
got.
but
Got
him
that.
dying, and apes together strong.
Yeah.
And then it skips straight into 300 years in the future is where we are. A couple generations later, it says.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, as you know, there is no confirmed things that any of these apes are related to the apes that we saw in the originals, although there are many people who believe that there are some. The biggest one being Koba, being, you know, I don't know what that would even be at that point. We'll just say Proximus is a descendant of him. I don't even know how far in generations that would be, because we don't even know how long apes live once they have this anyways. So, yeah, the biggest one being Proximus. A lot of people believe he is a descendant of Koba. The movie never confirmed it. People kind of just based that off of him being a similar type of ape. Along with that, we have some people thinking Noah is a descendant of Caesar. Again, similar ape. There was something I saw that he has a scar in the same place that Caesar has a birthmark. So some people thought like, oh, they gave him that scar to kind of, you know, help push that along. Other than that, I mean, you know, obviously Raka was a similar type of ape as Maurice. So none of these are confirmed things. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the movie right away from the start. Obviously, we talked about we get Caesar's death and we get the three kids going to get their egg. You know, if they have to raise being from a clan that raises eagles. I thought that scene was interesting to see them climbing. I thought we got right into getting to see, you know, obviously these movies are known for having really good visual effects, and I thought right away they were amazing. From seeing them climb around. Right away, you kind of saw Noah being kind of a little bit smarter than others from the beginning, as he first used a pole to stab into the rocks to try to help launch himself up when he had to go up even higher for eggs, as well as him fixing his mom's the thing holding the fish. I don't really know what the proper name would be. Yeah, he fixed that overnight for them. So they kind of did a good job of showing like Noah is, you know, a little bit smarter than others, it seems to be. As he was always crafting something, he was sharpening stuff. He was just
He's more
resourceful. Resourceful. Yeah, a resourceful guy. I thought it was fun, the relationship between Noah and the two others. I can't think of their names right now that he's friends with.
Suna and
Aniko? Is that one of their names?
sounds close.
I could not remember the guy.
Sounds close enough.
Anaya.
Close enough.
Anaya.
Yep, Anaya. There it is. Obviously, those two took a bit of a backseat after the beginning scene once they got separated, which, you know, is understandable. Obviously, this is the first installment of, 5 planned that they want to do?
5 more, yeah. Or, yeah, a total of 9. So
5 total. Yeah. So, obviously, we needed time with Noah. Raka was a dope character. Firm believer, not dead, didn't see the body. Same with Proximus. Caesar, not dead, didn't see the body. That's just my beliefs. I have, PTSD, some could say, from other franchises. I got to see the body to know they're dead.
So when would you say Koba also survived that fall? Is that why people are saying Proximus is
somehow Koba returned?
Is the
well
descendant? Because like how is Proximus the descendant if Koba died? Unless there was never any sort of established relationship that he had.
We don't know that he didn't have a kid that they just didn't give time to.
That's true.
In the earlier ones,
that's also true.
He could have already had a kid by all that. Overall, I mean, the May was whatever human character, all that stuff was I was a little disappointed on how heavy of a back seat Proximus took. He did not show up for a long time, and he did not have much screen time.
Yeah.
And I would definitely argue that the two other apes, don't know their names. I don't know if they had names, to be honest. I'm sure they did.
Like the general?
I'd argue those two. Yeah, the little general dude and the big silverback gorilla. You could definitely argue those two are honestly the villain more than Proximus was because how little time he had. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this movie. Did I think it's anything phenomenal? No. Do I think that there was it was really well done in terms of the visual aspects of it? It looked really good. Obviously, the CGI, I thought throughout, there was no time that I can think of that I was like blatantly like, oh, well, that's Marvel level. It was well done throughout the whole time. The actors and actresses doing their visual effects, I thought they were all very dedicated to the role. We saw, at least I saw plenty of things that I'm talking about. They went to ape school to learn how to walk the proper way. And I thought all that stuff was really well done. The story, I thought, was a little whatever. Was I super into it? Not really. Was it to the point where I was like, this sucks, I'll just let this end? No. So I think it did a good enough job. So yeah, like you said earlier in this, I would put it above the first one. Is it better than, Dawn or War? No. But would I watch it over Rise? Probably.
Yeah, to me, I would say that the best thing that this thing does, it reestablishes the world and where it's at in that point in time. Obviously, many generations after Caesar. So I think the first trilogy only spanned like 20 years. So it was still relatively close to our time. And now it's like you said, 300 years later. So it does a good job reestablishing how much life on Earth has changed since the time of Caesar. And that's probably the best thing that I could say for it. Obviously, also including that the visuals are probably on par with Dawn and War. But yeah, I mean, the characters are interesting enough. They're not really, I mean, especially Noah, he's not quite at the Caesar role. And obviously, I'm not going to compare the two because they're not the same. It's two different complete characters, even though, like you said, they do have that kind of resemblance. And he does get kind of like electrocuted in a certain spot on his chest that kind of resembles Caesar's birthmark. But, I think it's just a nod. I hope they really don't try to connect the two because, in my opinion, it kind of would be a disservice to what they're trying to do and establish a whole entire new character, instead of trying to like connect the two in some way. Like you said, fucking Proximus Caesar was dope when he was on screen, but he, to begin with, wasn't even on screen early enough to like make an impact. His name was, but he wasn't there. It was mainly his silverback gorilla general guy. I don't even remember the name, or if they even said the name, to be honest. And then once he does show up, it's cool. Obviously, we get that scene that's been like going around TikTok now, where he's preaching about the words of Caesar and like say his words, and that was dope. That was dope. But yeah, he's not really on screen too much, to be honest with you. And yeah, I hope he didn't really die, because I feel like there's more room for his character to really be more of a presence in the following film if they so choose to do it. But if he's dead, well, that kind of sucks, because I feel like that's a lot of material that was left on the cutting room floor. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. It was a nice reintroduction.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This film felt like what everyone kept describing Dune 1 should have felt like to me. Of just, you got to get through it so you can get to the next one. Because it was just okay overall. Yeah, I mean, the fact that wannabe Caesar, Roman Emperor over here, was only on screen, it felt like, for 5 minutes of screen presence, and then they immediately kill him off, was pretty lame. I think it definitely would have been way better if he just didn't have any chance of you thinking he was dead. Like, him just being fully alive. They just escaped out with the Eagle Clan, and they just rebuilt, and it was more of, now he's learning to be a leader like that way. Would have been so much better, in my opinion. And then having just chaos happen in the next one, you know? I didn't think there was any reason that they just had to immediately kill off the villain, but whatever. It also had a lot of things leaving you trying to guess. Like with them looking in space through the telescope, I know a lot of people are like, hey, are they actually just looking at the stars or the moon? Or are they seeing... The craziest thing I saw was a spaceship. Some people were really into it because the old OG ones went wild like that back in the day, and they obviously have a reason to go this far in the future to just absolutely go generations and generations. So we'll see. There's got to be some significance that's going on other than just, oh, hey, we're going to rally up a couple humans again. And it's like, well, I mean, you kind of already did that in the whole first trilogy. So we're just going to see just almost a shittier remaster of that. Okay. Like, don't have any interest in that. So they have to be doing something crazy. So I know it's far-fetched, but they have to be. Otherwise, like, it didn't seem like they were doing any magical cure of turning apes back into going into the zoo like they kept alluding to. It just was them contacting other humans at the end. I don't know. It felt almost everything that it was building up to felt very anticlimactic when it came throughout the film. Just had to get through it. And yeah, that's, I could say, probably the best thing I could say about it. The dad seemed pretty dope. You know, the first fight scene of his dad trying to survive and the Eagle Clan going on, pretty dope. Any kind of action after that was just whatever. So, for me, definitely is above Rise, because Rise is a very bad movie. And also, when I was looking at reviews, I was surprised to see that it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie.
It has probably the most iconic moment of the four films, with him grabbing his hand and then yelling no for the first time. That, like, it's
not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie. No,
but whatever.
It's a decent movie. It's not a bad.
I could go
movie.
The rest of my life without seeing that movie again, easily.
I mean, that's just a wild statement.
It's true. It is true. It is such a hard setup film, just like this one.
Okay, well, I concur with you on the fact that when they're looking up at the stars, I'm really hoping that they find a way to make that kind of be not redirecting it back to the originals, but maybe making their own spin on it and having certain things happen similarly, where perhaps there was an astronaut or a few astronauts that were sent in space before the simian flu was even a thing. They got stranded. Obviously, I mean, we've all seen kind of those space movies where time passes here on Earth, but for them it was only like a few hours or whatever, and they come back and they think that it's a whole new planet, but in reality it's the same Earth, just overran with apes. I feel like that would be a pretty cool thing to see, especially now with the technology they have, and I'm sure that there's a story there to tell. But yeah, I hope that's the way, that's kind of what they're alluding to, not anything other weird thing that's to do with space, like apes going in space or some shit like that. That's like some Fast and Furious type shit.
I'd be down. I'd be so down for it.
You're so weird.
Send them to space. Put a monkey on the moon.
Hey man, I mean, they got to do something crazy, because like if they're just doing humans versus apes, it's like you should have done that more in the third one, when there's literally a whole armies right there something along the lines. Like,
I mean, they're definitely building up for that because, I mean, we saw at the end where May comes and talks with Noah how she has a gun of just, and Noah's kind of thing that he said of, like, humans cannot be trusted. Like, you know, sorry, what Raka has to say. Like, I kind of get it. But at the same time, we can't trust humans. And she was literally showing it, you know, having a gun behind her. That it's very obvious that this is going to amount to a apes versus humans war because they can't be trusted, and you know we kind of saw that humans are trying to find their way to reclaim, you know, the earth is theirs, and the apes are, you know, rightfully so, like, hey, you had your time, not going back in a cage though. So you know, it's 100% amounting to some kind of war, but is it a war on Earth, or is it going to be a space race? That's the real question. And give me the space race. I'm all in on that.
See, I think if obviously yes, they're building towards that, but it would have been more impactful if you kept Caesar's clan and his little kingdom alive, have the Eagle clan rebuild, and then seeing the humans attack Caesar's clan. Then now you got that dilemma of, once again, are you choosing ape or human? You know what I mean? I think that would have been a little bit better too, of having showing the different clans, forcing him to make the tough choices, because obviously both are almost bad. But I don't know, man. I think the second one's going to have to be a banger to get me back in, because this one lost me a little bit.
I mean, I am a little concerned about the fact that they want to do 5. I think you're doing too much. You're going to have too much setup films for that to happen.
I think not 5, like as in like 5 with Noah as the main character. I think it's just 3. So this one included. So it'd be two more movies, just like Caesar. So it'd be like Caesar's trilogy, Noah's trilogy, and then eventually someone else's trilogy. But that'd be further down. At least that's kind of how I understood it. That it'd be eventually meeting to the point where obviously the original happens around that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I think you're doing too much. You're doing too much with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would much rather have it like that, where it'd be like their own individual trilogy, obviously taking place on Earth, but at different points in time, and just seeing the.
Give me an ape Oppenheimer.
You might get that in the new trilogy, because that's going to be they're even more human than ever.
We don't know what they're cooking up.
That would be funny.
Yeah, give me a solid trilogy with this, and I'll be fine. We don't need to continue to go on. It's, you know, it's a good franchise. It's interesting. I love monkeys and apes, so I'm gonna like it even more because of that. But yeah, honestly, I still enjoyed this movie. I definitely can see myself rewatching this again at some point. I'd give it a 7.6 out of 10 for me. This is something that I have no problem revisiting down the line for sure.
Josh?
I would give it 7.1 out of 10. You know, I think the majority of that rating is the heavy lifting is the fact that they care a lot about the attention to details for the visuals of these. They never go cheap, let's say that, especially with the effort. So have to give it above a 6.
Yeah, and the fact that Andy Serkis was kind of like a mentor to the cast and crew on this film. So I'm glad they still have him around, even though he's not in the film anymore. I'd give it like a 7.8 out of 10. So yeah, overall solid film, but yeah, definitely leaves more to be desired. Hopefully the second one really picks up steam.
Number two gonna need to step it up for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's gonna do it for this video. As always, comment down below if you saw. What are your thoughts on it? Let us know down below. Like the video as always, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.